Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to the 130th edition of ClariTea Chat. Today we have with us Sudip Mazumder, CDIO of PGP Glass. Hey, welcome Sudip.
Hey, thank you very much. Good to be here and pleasure.
Hey, thanks. So, a quick one about PGP Glass. PGP Glass specializes in designing, producing, and decorating glass packagings, serving global customers in cosmetics, perfumery, food, and pharmaceuticals. It's present in 9 countries and is a leader in glass packaging. And as I was getting curious about PGP Glass, I sort of realized that, oh my God, there's so many things in our daily life which come packaged in glass, right, from perfume bottles to wine bottles, and it's really interesting. Hey, so just to introduce Sudip, he was born and raised in Durgapur. He completed his civil engineering from IIEST Shivpur, West Bengal, and an MBA from IIT Mumbai. He got a ton of experience in enterprise systems on the other side before taking up the IT leadership roles on the other side. uh, so his career spans roles at Excites, Siemens, EXA, TCS, Lloyds Bank, AstraZeneca, Barclays, Cognizant, Gensartech. And then he shifted to IT management roles in KC International and L&T. By the way, Sudeep and I had a brief overlap when he came in as a tech lead in the CRM program, where I was one of the project managers. And of course, we will recount some of those things. And fast forward, he's currently now he's leading the digital transformation as the CDIO of PGP Glass. His leadership philosophy is you cannot please all the time. Some decisions may disrupt all, irritate few, or annoy others, and you have to manage it responsibly. We'll, as usual, cover his life story, but our focus will be on a few themes, like we do in all the ClariTea chats. Project and stakeholder management rigor learned at global assignments. A very interesting discussion on add value to become valuable. He has done a lot of work in Industry 4.0, so we'll hear some of his experiences on that, as well as on manufacturing analytics and AI foundation. This is personally curious because this is one place where we made a lot of efforts, but limited outcomes because of the challenges. And of course, he has some stories on change management, people first, and some bit on the principles of innovation that he's driving in all his roles. So we'll end the chat with a rapid fire round to bring out the personal side of Sudeep, and then a revenge question to me. And he has a very interesting one, and I'm like scared of that now. Okay. So, Sudeep, before we start talking of serious things, let's get some energy going. So, share with us, something very interesting from your
Uh,
stints.
Thanks very much, Jagdish. I mean, I think it's a lot of responsibility you have given to me today. So, first of all, the PGP Glass is present in right now is more than 65 countries. That's one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Secondly is, as I say that, हम लोग खुशियाँ बांटते हैं. So we make bottles for special liquors, not the liquor that possibly you're having. And we make cosmetics and perfumery. 17 of the top 20 global fashion brands are actually our end user.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you have used some of those brands possibly today also, most of the large brands actually, they are our customers. So हम लोग खुशियाँ बांटते हैं. So that's one thing. So that gives us a lot of energy, and that gives us a lot of responsibility as well, right? Because dealing with such customers, as I keep saying, and dealing with their IPRs in designs, some of the designs, it's a huge responsibility for us in terms of data protection, right?
Abs-
So that's the energy first. Second is, as you said, I born brought up in Durgapur. Did my obviously all those academics, and I kind of traversed from the manufacturing, discrete manufacturing, to the companies like IT services like TCS and Cognizant. But obviously, when you're having a TCS and Cognizant background, you'll have to go to different industry at different points in time. This is banking, insurance, automotive, like Tata Motors. You know it well. And then pharmaceuticals. So multiple industries I have been to as a TCS delivery person or a consultative business development person. And then obviously Cognizant, the same story goes there as well. And then on to when I came back in 2012, it was RPG Group in India, where I first took up IT consulting global head role for Zensar, and then moved back to Case International in RPG House in Mumbai, and then in L&T. Then in between, I had a very interesting 6 month stint as a which I don't see here, but it was there as a consulting CEO for a American startup. Unfortunately, that didn't go well. And then this PGP Glass, Pinamal Glass, PGP Glass, which is a Blackstone company now. It used to be with the Pinamal Group, but it has been now bought out by the Blackstone, the PE firm. So that's the journey. But I would say that the journey seems to be lots of companies. That's interesting, and that actually tells me actually it helped me in looking at multiple industries processes, and taking something from insurance to the manufacturing, from manufacturing to the discrete manufacturing, from process to discrete, from there to the pharmaceuticals. And actually it helped me a lot in shaping my understanding about industries, the processes, and that helped me further when I went for CX led, customer experience led transformation, or manufacturing excellence led transformation, or any other digital transformation. That helped me a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's where I'd like to stop, and then obviously I can take up more.
yeah. Sure, sure, Sudeep. Sudeep, before we go further, I would like to acknowledge our audience. A few of them have started showing their presence here. So we have CXOs, founders, IT managers, and seasoned technology industry leaders in our audience. All of us know that technology is necessary but not sufficient to drive business outcomes, business performance. The guests on Clarity Chat, like Sudeep, we have built the bridge between necessary and sufficient with the art of managing technologies. And this art you learn by experience. So Clarity Chat builds that bridge between their learnings and all of you who are trying to make a powerful impact with technology. So thank you all for joining us for the last 129 episodes and encouraging us with your interactions and questions. May I request everyone in the audience to share their name and where you're joining from in the comment box of LinkedIn or YouTube. Otherwise it seems like, me and Sudeep are having a video call, unless you guys chime in and we start seeing your comments here in the studio. So, but let's see who all have already joined us. We already have a few guys here. Sumit, as is customary, welcomes everybody. And then we have Amarinder. Amarinder has been a very regular audience at Clarity Chats. Greetings to everyone from Nama, Bengaluru. Hello, Sudip Majumdar and Jagdish Belwal. Jagdish Belwal, for once, you must be concerned, worried about the reverse question. Yes, Amrinder, I am worried about the reverse question. And, he has already told me, so you will see that I will look worried throughout the session because I'm kind of trying to figure out the answer to that question. So
Thanks,
we also
Amrinder, for
have,
joining. Yeah. Sorry.
sorry, Sudip, you're saying something?
I said thanks, Amrinder, for joining. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have Amit saying, nice to see you, Sudeep. You inspire others to think out of the box and achieve the unachievable. So, well, before you have said much, Sudeep, the accolades have already started coming. Yeah. So, thank you all for attending. Please keep your questions coming for Sudeep as we go through the chat. That's the whole value of this interactive platform, that it's not recorded. So as your mind starts working on what you're hearing, please shoot across your questions. By the way, we have somebody else. We have Mayank Bedi. Hey, I'm Mayank, joining us from Bangalore. So he has been in your seat in Clarity Chat, Sudeep. And Amit is joining us from Delhi. and I have, oh sorry, that was Ravi Rawat from Vadodara, and Amit is joining us from Delhi. Okay, guys, let us get on. So, Sudeep, you gave us, like, the overview of your career as how you have moved. So I'll kind of quickly recount for everyone. From Excite, Siemens, AXA program manager. That was from TCS, right, Sudeep?
Yeah, TCS.
Yeah. And then Lloyd's Bank, AstraZeneca, Barclays. These were all direct roles, isn't it?
No, Lloyd's was director. Let me just do that a little bit. I think I
Okay,
skipped a little
quickly,
bit. So
quickly, yeah.
very quickly,
Because
very quick. So Exide Siemens. I was a management consultant where I worked with the SAP guys. So to prevent garbage in, garbage out for SAP implementations, and then I went to TCS. From TCS, I did lots of different clients like Tata Motors, AXA, Aviva, and many other clients. And then I moved on to as an employee to Lloyd's Banking in 2008. And but after the Lehman Brothers crash, in that particular year we crashed. So I quickly jumped the ship, and I was lucky to be there in Cognizant. So I took the offer from Cognizant, and I worked for Cognizant in delivery lead roles in AstraZeneca, Barclays, and then I went on to take the role of strategic alliances head for Cognizant in Europe. And then I moved back to India in 2012. And then I think I talked about it already, which is RPG Group in Zensar as IT consulting head, global head, and then KEC as head of digital innovation. And then I moved on to L&T as first as deputy head digital, and then a digital general manager, a digital transformation. And then I did two stints there actually, 1.5 years, and this 1.5 year. In between Piramal Glass and PGP Glass is there. So altogether is the total journey. So last 12
awesome.
years, if you look at, it's in India.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, thanks, Sudeep. So, Sudeep, when we were talking, like, you kind of shared that you rose from the ranks by demonstrating the power of rigorous project management and stakeholder management. And I've also seen that, for the brief, I think about less than a year that you were with us in the Tata Motors project, one of the strongest qualities that we saw was, like, the focus on getting what you have said delivered. So share that principle with us through a few examples, especially when it comes to large scale programs with multiple layers of hierarchy. Yeah, share some examples of your experience.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jagdish, for taking it up. Actually, this is one of the prime themes that I keep talking to my team currently, even before that as well. If you look at, as you said, the focus on deliverable, right? Mr. Narayan Murthy at that time obviously was in full swing, but he never talked about 70 hours. But I think Tata Motors actually asked us to do 90 hours at that time without telling it to the public. Okay, so that was fun. There's nothing wrong in there because when you push the scope to that extent, obviously it happens. But as a project manager, as a program manager, at some point in time, I had less experience, but over a period of time, I understood the values of project management and program management. In fact, right now I'm exercising in my company. So first and foremost, if I look at my transition to Tata Motors to AXA within TCS, that will happen. From Tata Motors, huge scope, huge deliverable within a small time, but we had to do it because there was a huge pressure, huge prestige issue at that time, right? It's the first and the largest OEM implementation on CBIL, CRM, and DMS together in one instance. That was the case. But when I went to AXA, just right after that, I was given 22.7 million pounds program, right? And the way they manage the program is completely different. The way the rigor of project planning was, there were some 6 or 8 work streams, and I was managing most of them. And the amount of rigor in project planning I saw at that time, number of lines you create, the strength of the program office, the PMO head at that time, Gary, is still a very good friend of mine. I learned a lot of things from him. So important thing is that what I understood is there's a huge art of project and program management. There's a huge amount of collaboration and communication between the work stream must be there. You need to have a solid plan with a very granular tasks. Otherwise, you'll be missing out something. It cannot be in somebody's head, right? It cannot be a technical project leader's head or a project manager's head or a module lead's head. It has to be there on paper, and we have to practice that. And the way I learned at that time, how to make a plan, how to do an update, how to monitor a plan, how to monitor a task and activity, right? And then how to calculate the EVA. First time in a project, I understood what is the EVA, how the EVA is calculated, how EVA actually does give a sense of value that you are getting out of this investment. How do you change the ROI, right? I can tell you just one example on this. It's important for me to say, like when we go for license time, not the subscription time, license time. Let's say we have taken 300 licenses and let's say 10 developer licenses. And we struggle to show ROI. I saw that how the 10 developer licenses can be shown as an investment and getting the ROI from the day one. We didn't have to wait for 300 licenses to be consumed. Within first 10, you can actually say that my ROI started because it was a capex. And some of the ways I saw the rigor, the not only the plan, also the financial side of it, ROI estimation side of it is amazing. I saw. So that's one. I would say that go ahead and do the plan for all of us. In fact, that will be your last section when it is what is it for the junior leadership. It is about learn how to plan a project. Don't just jump into it. Make a preparation. 50% is a prep time. After that, you can start, right? And go for all communication. Communicate. In the project management, I have understood that over communication is good thing, because most of the communication will not be read anyway, right? Most of the communications are given by mail. So I can tell you, everybody shift deletes. So more you send, the probability of getting read is higher. It's not a bad thing, right? So I've learned that as well. Just one particular thing before I move on to possibly next section is I've done communication itself. In AstraZeneca, I did a project which is 30 countries project, Norway to Cyprus, Russia to Portugal. It was a $5.5 million program, infrastructure refresh program. And my job was at some point in time to talk to only IT people, IS people, and business people in all countries, 30 minutes each. Every day, at least 3 to 4 sessions. Only communicate that what is it coming, why there is a risk, if the risk happens, what will you do, how will you react, whom to contact, etc. And 30 minutes each, right? So the communication has got a huge power. Typically, when I see even today, if I compare it with some other customers or other companies or some other geography, I see there is a difference between the two, right? I think probably in this part of the world, we shy away from communication. Possibly we feel that it's kind of showing off. But in a project management, it's not about showing off. It's project management is about telling the truth, right?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it is not about showing off. So I think some of these things actually are understood. Even if you ask me, Jagdish, Sudip, if you come back to Tata Motors to do that program, I would do it differently and still would be successful, right? Just before I go on to the next one, I know that time will be limited, but still I'll talk about it. One of the gurus at that time, I mean, I got mentored by some of the best people, including Jagdish, by the way. Jagdish, Manish, I always take your name with, all along since 2001. But I can tell you, but one of the guys actually told me, Kevin Blansum, his name was, he used to be a very expensive program director. He told me, so the 4 things that you have to look at: scope, risk, time, and cost. Cost and time you actually adjust. Scope and risk you manage. There's a difference between the 2 words. Scope you manage, risk you manage. Time and cost you adjust. Time, how do you adjust? You actually do a 3 shifts. Cost, how do you adjust? You can actually do offshoring, nearshoring, whatever you way, what are the way you want. Two things are adjustment, two things are real management skill, right? I leave it there, but I think I can see that some of my juniors also then in the call, and I would really love to, take this into their heart and do deliver the project that they're doing.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, how many lines was that EXA program?
it was altogether around 40,000 lines.
My
And
God.
every week, we had to sit with the program office head and update. Out of the, I mean, every week we knew where to focus because every task has a start date and an end date. So he will
Yeah,
directly go to the start date and end date. Tell me, what is this? Start. Have you started? Have you finished? The first thing they used to do. Then, if I started something, it's not that they'll be very, I mean, he will be very excited. It's the why it is. If you have finished early, he'll be saying why it is. Because if you have finished, the next question is, did you overestimate? Did you
got it.
overestimate the task? If you start early, then you'll be saying that, oh, something is early finished. That means you are getting the EVA good. But
Yeah,
remember that that means within the same resourcing arrangement, you are doing better. So maybe you'll have to give back some of the money, some of the man hours into the program management kitty.
got it.
Amazing. I'm telling you. These questions nobody asked me. Nobody asked me till then. But then obviously I understood how to take those questions, how to
Absolutely,
understand
absolutely.
the
That's
principles of planning. Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about communication, so definitely no, I would say no underestimating the communication. And this reminded me, like, when we were doing when we are doing the CRM program, and there was a lot of, like, I would say, curiosity and concern amongst dealers as well as our field managers. And I remember I was the guy on whom, who was made responsible for communication. And I think in 6 months, I would have toured all the state capitals, I met 90% of the dealers, 90% of the field managers, sales and service guys. Mm, and it was like, that's what really created a huge amount of conviction, because the commitment, before you get the commitment, you need to get the conviction, and that's where communication plays a big role. So let's move on, Sudeep. So Sudeep, your my next question is, like, you shared this very interesting philosophy of yours, which I found like so simple, so intuitive. Okay, and I want you to like expound a little bit on that, of course with examples, as we do in Clarity Chat. It's like this, adding value to become valuable. Okay,
yeah,
especially in technology, it's not very easy to establish and to communicate value, right? Even as a certain value. So just share some example of, like, what you mean by this, and maybe talk through with a couple of examples.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Jagdish. I mean, it's simple, but we'll have to find it out all the time. We'll have to be inquisitive. That is the way I look at it. First of all, this adding value to become valuable, it is not really from the point of view of an individual or a professional. It is also valuable for my function, for the department, because IT, uh, at it used to be, and in many companies is still sitting in the dark corner in one of the buildings, a god forsaken building, and sit there, which is the most unimportant, and deliver. Actually, without IT, no company can deliver today. No company, whether it's a banking, whether it's insurance, or even the manufacturing, nobody can deliver without IT and without security, right? So I really don't like this attitude or the philosophy sitting there in some dark corner and just code and do deliver. I don't. So add value all the time. Think about it, because you are from the same fraternity whom you are serving. I'm serving them. That doesn't mean that I'm a the children of lesser God. Okay, so value. You know what's simple? We are talking about AXA. We were planning. In the planning, in TCS days, what we had is inter-project inter-project review. So I used to be reviewed by somebody in Australia in three. From three, somebody will be reviewing the Kaiser permanent client. I mean, internal review. These are not TCS, and I'll be reviewing the Kaiser guys. This was the norm, internal reviews. And when I told it to the client, saying that, boss, we have to extend our time because I'll have to work with those Australian guys or the West Coast guys. First of all, they said that no, because of certain other things, because apparently it increased the cost. I didn't understand that why the cost was increasing, by the way. The cost was increasing because the office time from 5:30 to 7 o'clock means there is an increase in the cost of overhead, electricity, heating or AC, whatever it is. The second one is cost of insurance. I never knew that. Plus the unionized the services guys, right? You have to talk to them. You'll have to give them a little more. So there is an increase of an hour, which actually increase the project cost. I never understood it earlier. So I understood. Anyway, so the value. So when I said that, they said that they understood that what we are doing, and then what we did is the review became part of my project plan. TCS review, internal review became a part of the project plan because it is an additional level of assurance for the client. So what was there inside when I actually demonstrated that I have to be reviewed by somebody within TCS and who is equal or better than me, they saw this is a good value that we can bring in an extra level of assurance. So it became part of the project plan. So I think that's the value I personally, obviously, as an individual created, but it became an organizational value delivered by TCS. People just loved it. The TCS
Yeah.
by organization design, they're doing it, right? That's one. Second one is in Barclays, in my Cognizant days, I was doing a small project, very small project. I think it's 100K, 150K, but it's a very complex project in the pricing, Barclays corporate pricing, corporate lending pricing area. There was a team and we were faltering. So I was told by my boss in Cognizant said that, just why don't you look at it? I said, okay, fine, I will. I went into the project and I saw some of the project meeting it was 90% offshore and only, 9:1 at that time, 9 offshore and 1 possibly there. And I didn't see him or her also. This one just project manager, something was going on. I went to some of the meetings, few of the meetings to understand what's going on, how people are talking, etc. And I could see, I still remember that lady's name, but Barclays, when she's still there, Joy Bateman. Joy actually was asking, hey, what will be happening to my price discount? Somebody was talking from Cognizant Pune. He was talking about, we'll be doing a Java code, and from the Java code, it will be invoked, and from the invoking, we'll do this. I was looking at this side and this side. It was looking like, it's a ping pong. Nobody is understanding each other's language, right? I saw there's a huge value to generate within that time. Whatever Joy was asking question, I was trying to make it technical. The answering the technical answer, I was trying to make it a little business friendly. What happened is the project not only turned around, did a good job. The Cognizant team did a very good job. We got a lot of accolades. The biggest accolade I got as a person, as an individual, as a professional. You know what she wrote? Sudip, you have been a fantastic translator. Don't undermine this word. Right? This is a value add. I think this is some of the times I miss. And I did it I could understand this is happening, and I could sense this actually would be helping them just to create a level playing ground and get the project sorted. Right? So these are small things though. And if we add value, I think as a company also will be in a next pedestal, in the higher pedestal. So I think apart from that, obviously adding value by creating or introducing a technology within the landscape in the company always is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think good, good setting up of the discussion, and now we know how Sudip has grown. It is like being rigorous. So we talked about project being rigorous about project planning and stakeholder management. Spend 50% of the time in planning. In fact, somebody was I was asking one of my ClariTea chat guests about the difference between how Indian companies do project management and how like MNCs do project management. And he immediately said that, listen, those guys, they spend 70% of the time in planning and 30% in execution. And I think in India, we do the reverse. We do 30% in planning and 70% in execution. And that 70% in execution is actually a lot of firefighting because you didn't plan well. And I think the one of the biggest one is like, finding dedicated resources, because resources is always what takes time. Right? So anyway, so the other thing is like, I mean, very good insight around, you manage the scope and risk and you adjust the cost and time. I think as you guys chew on it, as you try to digest it, you will realize that it's a very very profound statement. In fact, I've been thinking about this since the time you said it, and like it's like so true, like gem of this thing. Yeah, and like 40,000 lines of project plan being discussed on a daily basis. I think coming to that next topic of adding value to become valuable. Um, by the way, Sudip, when I remember distinctly one particular instance where we wanted to have some meeting with you, and you excused yourself, where you said that I have an internal review, and then when we probed a little bit, we figured out that somebody from the practice, I think it was Hashit Kaji, if I'm correct, right? And Hashit was there for the full day, kind of like, going through how the team is going on. Actually, you know what? I mean, even though you guys declined the meeting, we felt so happy and reassured that, listen, there is somebody in TCS, okay, who is actually doing some sort of a QA on the program, okay, and I can actually like resonate with the, what your AXA customer, said that, hey, this adds value. And I think the other thing is like about being a translator of value to the stakeholders. Absolutely. In fact, I always say that, what you said, in a dark little corner, IT guys sit in a dark little corner. Actually, IT can be very, technology can be very, can be like an opium. You can just keep be drowned in it unless you figure out, what it is actually doing for the business. And if you get disconnected from it, that's when that starts. So and one of the value of any project manager, program manager, IT leader, CIO, is to communicate that value. So like it's like if technology is French and the world speaks English, which is the business world, okay, then you have to be the English tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But technology also is changing very fast, and the leader has to learn. I am also learning every day how to communicate. Still,
absolutely,
my other CXOs may come back to me and say that, Sudip, we don't understand what you are speaking, and I
absolutely.
face that also. It's not that, but I'm learning.
Yeah. So Sudeep, let's move on to the next one, which is like, which is about Industry 4.0. So
Yeah.
it seems you've done a lot of work in Industry 4.0. I mean, whatever I know, a lot of people have been experimenting with it, but there are lots of legacy, technical debts out there. So walk us through your experience. How did you plan it, sell it internally, and how did you drive the outcomes with Industry 4.0? And I will anyway ask you a follow-up question, so you have to be a little quicker. Is like,
Okay.
what are the challenges you need to overcome in that? So
Okay.
yeah, walk us through your experience with Industry 4.0.
Okay. Let me just first talk about that challenge. Maybe the next question. So if you look at the digital from, I was in the pure play IT, right? We were all in the IT. So digital came fairly new in 2014-15. In fact, in RPG group, when I was there in KEC, Ganesh Natarajan, who was the Zensa CEO at that time, he actually called a meeting with Anand Goenka, saying that we'd like to talk about digital. And he asked me also to join, because before that I was in Zensa. I came back to KEC and he asked me to join. And actually, we presented to Anant at that time, so what is digital, what's happening in the sensors, in the actuators, in the gateways. We talked about it in 2014 December. You'll be surprised to hear that. And then we created a 35 point in RPG whole group, 34 point agenda of digital transformation. So what are the things that we can do? A laundry list of 34 digital items we did. It's as early as 2015, 14 December 15, that time, right? So we started there, and then we quickly started quite a few within the group. But in KEC, where I was more interested in doing digital, this is another interesting thing I would say, that since digital was coming in, so it wasn't very understood item, to be honest. Like, because SAP is understood, CRM is understood, like any other application, success factors understood, not very much the digital. So what we did is not only did the strategy, but we chose some few of them. One of them, like I can talk about here, is that we did in one of the factories IoT implementations for 20 machines to understand what is the OEE, and so operational equipment effectiveness. So which is basically an excellence measure, AQ, A into Q into P, whatever the stuff is. So we did that. So that was our first, and secondly, we did some of the other implementations in KEC. I'm sure that they have gone from there to multiple stuff. Then I joined actually L&T. In L&T, it was a digital setup at that time. L&T did, and a bunch of people joined from different industries, and we also there, and we were given a playground to experiment. I still remember what the CEOs during the interview, he told me, Sudip, L&T is an ocean. It's a very large company, that, compared to where you are coming from. But and you will be testing. You will test. You will fail. It's okay. You retest. You fail. It's okay. But once you pass, you have to scale. You have to understand that. So that's the philosophy was there, and so we did lots of IoT implementations for 12,000 machines that we did, and machines which are not static in a factory. Those are all, most of them are moving machines from one place to another within the project, inside between the projects, etc. So 12,000 machines we connected, and it was an amazing journey at that time. Plus we did VR, we did AR, we did gamification. Lots of this sensorization happened in multiple functions, starting from on the helmet to track the safety of the people, and then tracking of materials, all kinds of materials. So if you think of this, the Mumbai Metro, right? The Mumbai Metro, underground metro, each of these panels, there's a lining of, we call it panels. Each panel is actually tracked in Mumbai Metro. Similarly, each girder is tracked in high-speed railways. Each girder that we did. So it's an amazing journey. L&T has done a terrific job in that, and I've been part of it because whole team worked very closely with the business, and we got a lot of support. I think Amit Singh is here in the audience. Amit is actually the transportation infrastructure digital officer now. He's there. He himself was an entrepreneur. So we got them. So amazing work that we did. Some of the learnings are there. We can talk about it very quickly. But important is, while doing this, we understood that digital is about value. It is not about SAP. In SAP, in the CRM, what has happened is people really did not ask about what is the return. But in digital, people started asking returns, because in digital, when we touched some processes within the machine, or touching the machines in the field, people asked us how much efficiency you could generate, how much productivity you could generate, how much diesel consumption you could save, so how much waste reduction is. So people started asking those questions, which did not happen during my IT days. So the game was very different and hard as well.
Yeah. So, Sudeep, what are some of the biggest challenges in driving IoT transformations?
That's my biggest eye openers. I mean, those are my biggest eye openers as well. This one of the things that I can talk about is, probably I'll not take the name of the company, said that will be better. So once we put IoT for OEE study in any of the manufacturing companies, uh, so you will see that, or one will see that, the value probably is 72%, and immediately people will be asking you, no, this is not right, 72% is too, just stop it. The reason is possibly when you are getting the data from the machine, the availability data from the machine, or productivity or productive data of the machine is now open. It is no manual intervention at that time. Obviously, it will be giving you actual data, how much it was available and how much it was actually used, right? Not a norm based. And that norm is historical norm, not a data based norm, right? So what happens is the moment you do that, you will be seeing that you are head to head with the labor contract, because the labor contract possibly is on 92%. Yeah, baseline 92%. 92 ऊपर जाएगा, then you'll be getting the bonus, etc. So say 90, 77, 92, or 82 or 92, there's a huge difference. And immediately you might feel disruption. So it is important that we understand the implication of these technologies as well, and learn quickly, and make sure that other CXOs also learn quickly. Otherwise, if you are afraid of taking technology, being a, let's say, HR head, or being a supply chain head, or being any of the functional head, you actually will be very retrogressive,
Yeah,
right? I
absolutely.
think this is a big learning for us, and I think this is something. And secondly, I would say that from other, just small one, that I keep talking about it, and this is LTC also used to keep talking. So it's a very simple thing, that when you are taking the data, remember that when you are taking the embedded technology, you are the owner of the technology. The 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 the, the company which sold you that machine, they are not the owner. You have purchased it outrightly. You have purchased the technology as well, embedded database as well. So you are the owner. Now, my challenge is, and I faced it, that we faced it. That's why I'm saying our challenge is, how many times during this purchase of capital goods, IT or digital was involved, to understand what kind of contract it is, where will be the data, where the data residency is, how do you prevent data leakage? Because today my operations data is, it's like a gold mine. If my
Yeah,
operations data is with my competition, they will get to know actually what I produce and how much I produce and what I do with that, right?
no,
How
absolutely,
many times we
absolutely.
are there? So I think my point is very simple here. Sometimes we will see that it is very simple thing, but just go ahead, look at the legal, look at purchase, look at HR, all these areas as well. It is just not simple digital.
No, this actually, when so I think the area you touched upon is like the so some amount of technical debt in terms of like the computing technology inside the machines being old, and some part of it that sometimes you don't get access to that data. And when we were trying out these initiatives, one of the first things we did was we went to the manufacturing planning function, who actually buys all these capital assets, lines and all, and we said, listen, these are some of the guidelines we gave them from a IT point of view, IT and data access point of view. That data, I mean, the data will be provided to us in the decrypted form, etc., etc., right? And that's absolutely essential. And I think you made a very good point about this labor contracts and all, right? I mean, if you can probably achieve a huge delta in your productivity, but your labor contracts are always driven by incremental improvements in productivity, and the moment you bring in some technology to do that, you may face a pushback from the labor. And that reminds me, like, quick incident. So in my GT days, we had these on shop floor assignments, and so we were like, we used to spend like a day trying to learning to assemble something or learning to do a particular job or process. And after half a day, we actually figured out that there's a better way to do it, which will save some time. Okay, and we told it to the operator. Okay, and the operator smiles at us and he says, "Sir, आपको आधा दिन में अ, ये मालूम चल गया? मैं तो यहाँ सालों से काम कर रहा हूँ, बेवकूफ दिखता हूँ क्या?" So, I mean, in English, he said that, guys, you figured it out half a day, within half a day, that there's a better way to do this. I'm working here for years. Do I look like an idiot? And then he told us the internal how it happens is that the the people, the workers on the shop floor, they basically keep all these ideas in a sort of like repository. And whenever there is a pressure from there's a negotiation between the management and the union, and there's a pressure to improve productivity, these ideas simply get executed, and it doesn't take much time. And then you bring in technology and you're disrupting the whole system. Anyway, Sudeep, we do have some stuff here, some more questions here, but then I had a question about like the foundational building blocks for manufacturing analytics and AI, and then I see a question from Amarinder here about AI, and so let me take his question first, because
I'll have to, I'll have to sit up straight.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I mean, we just watched the video right in the beginning where we said that audience first, so I have to follow that, right? Okay, so Amrinder, here you go. Keep your follow-up questions coming. Question to Sudip. With the rise of nearly DIY enterprise IT driven by generative AI agents, and the ability to rapidly create and dissolve custom code, even for single use cases, how will this evolution impact the role of the CIO and equivalent IT leaders? Could this lead to an increase in shadow IT, greater technology decision making power shifting to business users, and other transformative changes? So, first things first, Sudeep, I want to question the first part of it. Is it real?
I think it's becoming real very very quickly. To be honest, in fact, quicker than I also thought. Because I'm trying to experiment, and I've seen some of the work very recently in some of the most brilliant guys they're trying to do, but it's reality that some things will be done by, it will be more conversational. Having said that, the preparation of the data will take a lot of time. How many systems today are there in the market which are actually worth to have a generative AI on the top of it? And how many have done the right kind of vectorization? Without vectorization, without contextuality of the data, whatever you have done, you'll not be able to get the Gen AI. So I think the first thing is that you're absolutely right. There will be a good amount of DIY, but with that, different kinds of skills also will be generated. I mean, will be required. Like, those are cliched, which is basically prompt engineering and all. It's not easy, and I've seen it myself. I try to do all the time. So one, there will be good amount of democratization, no doubt about it, right? Right now it is not fully real. It is not fully, it is not real, and it is becoming there, it is going there, right? And the challenge will be with us, will be to prepare the data and make it a Gen AI worthy, right? Right now I have done some of the work in our space as well. Limited success is there, and we can see that there can be a greater success. uh, Two things will be very important in there. Even though we think that it will be a democratization, people will be using it, but look at what has happened so far. Do you think the entire functional world, other than digital world and then functional people, they have adopted the digital in the last 10 years? Do you think? Ask the question to yourself. I think not. I think not. Still, we have got a huge emphasis on change management, huge emphasis on capability building, even after 10 years on the same IoT system, right? Or IoT type system. Chennai will be taking a little more time, right?
Yeah.
People will be averse to, in my view, to start with, Uri Baba is a technology talk. That kind of will be there, but over a period of time, like people use today mobility or mobile app, they'll also be using, but it'll take time. I think it's not real at this point in time.
So Sudeep, my bit of a take here. So Amrinder, what I so a lot of times when so I'm a mechanical engineer who became a CIO, and I'm like not, I wouldn't say I'm like very hardcore techie. Though I know all the other aspects better, strategy, architecture, etc. So sometimes, when a techie actually tried to give me a lot of technical mumbo jumbo, and then like try to fool around with me, I would be looking at his face, and since I know typing, I would be typing something on Google to fact check him. Okay, and then without him knowing, I will be cross questioning him. you know via Google. And let me tell you, so this is like, for that structured data, like, can it do this, can it not do this, as well. But now with I think one of the things that I see for IT folks, including vendors as well as partners as well as IT managers, is that if you are trying to give mumbo jumbo to your business guys as to why something can be done, cannot be done, what are the challenges, etc., I think it just improves the fact checking ability of your business guys, because this guy can actually give a nice prompt to to chat gpt, saying that, hey, you are the CIO, and like, your partner comes and tells you so and so and so, how would you respond, right? And that would be so it just I mean, there is a lot of information asymmetry which used to be leveraged by people in terms of giving bullshit to their stakeholders. I think that that's something that is a little hard now. Okay, so Sudip, we are running out of time. We are already at 5:51, and we still have some bit to go. So let me ask the next set of questions in a very rapid fire manner. And by the way, guys, if any one of you have any questions for Sudeep, please bring them on. We just picked up a question from Amarinder. Let me see if there are any recent comments from our audience. So we have OKG hello everyone, nice to connect with all of you. Hey, welcome OKG. Uh, it will be good to know where you're joining from. So Amit kind of reminisced on, and then Bharat Dhruv, he's an old colleague, so he has joined. Hey, welcome Bharat Bhai. I hope you had a good BOMA Expo. He was there when I last talked to him a couple of days back. So anyway, coming back. So the quick answers, okay? So
Yeah.
just give me one example of change management to kind of demonstrate the power of prioritizing people over processes.
I mean, there are lots actually. I think one of the things that I did is in the TIPL I created, in fact, which is a gamified effort to push the digital applications for more and more usage, which was totally people friendly. And TIPL was basically Transportation Infrastructure Premier League, which was like IPL, like how much you have, if you have planned for 100-meter cube of concrete, and if you have achieved 80% one run, 90% two run, 10 boundary 100%, if you're 110 6, and then the
Oh,
so that what we did. In fact, my TED talk actually is on that. So it was an amazing success. We did 2 sessions, but it's all about people. The same people
awesome.
who used to call at 9 o'clock, if they don't see their leader on the leaderboard, they used to call us, sir, mera data nahi gaya. So my data is not uploaded. Sir, what happened? I've never seen such thing. It was
No, no,
almost like an unreal. So
that's an amazing story of engaging your stakeholders. Okay,
that was the
so
first that was the first gamification in construction industry actually. uh,
awesome.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Sudeep, you did mention, like, in L&T you did a lot of innovation and on IoT and also. So just tell me, maybe with example, one principle of innovation that you follow.
But it goes back to my other questions, is add value to, add value always to yourself and to the organization. A simple example I tell you. And you may say that CRM is, I consider CRM is IT, digital, everything today, because it has got a generative AI element as well today. You know what? The CRM, when we implemented in NXT, L&T Next, a company called NXT Next that we formed, 30 users were there. We put Microsoft Dynamics, yeah, and it was in 26 days. Now you will be saying the 26 days CRM. Again, first of all, I'd say that, it was, I called those I think it was LTI who did it actually. I first 1 month I did the planning, just planning. Then I kicked off the project. So the innovation was, first you do the plan. I'll keep it out. The plan. Let's do the planning. Absolutely. And I start from day 26, and I'll go to the day zero. So actually, it happened the reverse count, right? Basically, we started countdowns on day 26, and day zero was implemented. The project I named as Special 26, Special Chabis.
Oh
And
wow, awesome.
special, you know what I've seen, that in India, the Bollywood matters, right? And the moment I put the project name as Special Chabis, people started looking at it.
Got it.
From
Yeah,
the day 13 up to day 13, it was a animated picture, and the every day we used to say what we have completed today, what will be completed tomorrow, right? And very boldly, day 13, I started doing real picture of these movie stars and uh, their dialogue. One of the dialogue, like one dialogue of one of these stars, "Swagat nahi karoge mere ko," right? From just one simple thing, people just looked at it. An entire bunch of the techies, but I can tell you, they got just excited to deliver. So again, it goes how to add value innovatively and look for innovation every time. People will take it.
yeah. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Bollywood sells. I mean, the other one which I can tell you from my experiences is cartoons sell. So in one of
Yes.
the adoption programs that we were running, we actually started converting these adoption stories into cartoon form with real names, real departments, and all. And we started publishing it as Mangal Gyan, okay, and it would go out on every Tuesday. And we would invite more stories like that, okay. So hey, you want to be featured in Mangal Gyan? Tell us your adoption story, and that created a great momentum. By the way, it was Office 365 and Microsoft then eventually financed that initiative. Basically the cartoonist who was doing this for us. Okay, hey, let me see. Hey, we have one more question. I thought we ran out of audience questions, but we have Sayan Ray here. I hope I pronounced your name right, Sayan Ray. So Sayan asks a question: Your take on expectation management of stakeholders in a time you are privy to too many extreme claims by IT industry experts. I was asked by a CIO why we need programmers when NVIDIA CEO is claiming AI will generate code. No, I think I would just like to paraphrase this. I think it's a very, very, very real thing that all these consultants and IT partners, they come and they create such a rosy picture of what you can do with my technology, that it makes the job of a CIO very, very difficult. So yeah, Sudip, over to you.
No, I think
Yes,
is absolutely, no, I think absolutely right you are. In fact, people claim a lot of things. They'll be showing something small, and they say that and extrapolate it, and suddenly it'll be, I get the challenge. Yeah, we do. All the CIOs, CDIOs, CDOs, CDOs have the same challenge. But I mean, this. I only can say that you have to make a proper dialogue with those. You have to have a proper dialogue with them, and show them the picture from outside world. What I do is I keep talking to the other CIOs, CDOs, what they're doing, and that's one of the monitors for me all the time. In fact, I give examples to my team and my CXOs as well. Giving examples to multiple companies, because I go to the networking sessions, etc., and say that people have achieved so much, people have achieved so much. If you are talking about so much, just give an example. Perplexity. Perplexity.ai is one of the fine, $4 billion or whatever number they're doing today, and it's one of the finest sites today for research purposes. And I got to know immediately. I brought it in, right? I brought it in with a paid subscription, etc. And people are using it or not using it. Sometimes some of the people use it, some of the people don't use it. See, one is getting some of the things which are already there in the market. We can get it, right? But the contextualization to your industry is difficult. Even the publicity also will not be giving you the glass manufacturing result or glass result. That may be good for somebody for something one generic queries, right? It's not. I think
absolutely.
it's a huge work for us. Huge work for us.
No,
And
no, that,
sorry,
I think
the more we are progressing technologically, the more we are creating a lot of blind spaces.
no,
A
absolutely,
lot of
absolutely.
blind
I
spaces. Yeah.
think, but I think this is a good approach that Sudeep said. Sayan, coming to your question, is that find out the reality from outside. What they are selling is one part, but where are the examples? I mean, try to talk to people who have actually tried it, and what are the this thing. I can recount one experience, SAP was trying. I mean, we are being sold very, very hard on, like, on the new version of ERP. And we said, okay, so who's doing it? And they told the customer's name. And I basically reached out to them through network and all. And then I said, guys, can we come over and, like, can you share your experience with us? It's like, just, we want to learn from you. And we went there and we spent, I think, 2 3 hours there, and we heard horror stories after horror stories. I mean, initially it was all like, nice presentations that they made to the management and all. Then we started asking some very innocent probing questions, and like, the horror stories started tumbling out of the cupboard. And then we said, no, you're not going now, it's not mature yet. Yeah. So let's move to the rapid fire round, guys. And I can see some questions have already started coming in from the audience. So please, guys, more and keep your questions coming. By the way, I just wanted to, like, I've been thinking of saying it for some time, actually. Sudip agreed to do this clarity chat even while he was traveling. So he's with his family in Banaras, and that's why you see sometimes, his video freezing a little bit. Even though, Sudip, I must say that, please compliment your hotel guys that the net is decent enough to, your voice hasn't broken so far, touch wood. Even though uh, in between, like, the image fridges.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us from Banaras, actually. So let me come to the rapid fire. So, Sudeep, quick ones, and these rapid fires are also insights into, what we didn't cover in terms of your life. I've got lots of them, so be very quick, one sentence answers. Okay. Why did you change so many jobs?
Supporting my wife for her job changes, for her career growth.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Surprise?
No, no, no. I mean, no. I'm like, it's so delightful because it generally happens the other way around. The wife changes a lot of jobs to, like,
I did.
for the husband's career, and here we have, and I don't see that you have lost out while you adjusted to your wife's job changes.
I did
Okay.
actually.
Oh no, that's okay. You know, not much. Okay. What gives you a soft corner for Tatas?
Tata is, so I'm from Durgapur. I used to, during my childhood days, Tata Steel used to win bloody all events in inter-steel competitions. I always used to think, when do I go to the Tata Steel or the Tata Group? But the
Okay,
chess to bodybuilding, everything.
okay, awesome. So you spent a lot of time in TCS. Any experiences with N. Chandra, the current chairman?
Wow. He actually recruited me. He was my executive interviewer.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so he got you into TCS.
Yes.
Um,
Rajan
okay, so
Chandra.
curious question. Okay, um, we when you came into the Tata Motors CRM project, we knew that you're not a Siebel guy. Okay, so I'm curious to know, how do you land in Tata Motors project?
No, I was indoctrinated to civil world by that time, but because TCS civil was done by me, but
Okay.
actually I was supposed to be going to US, and it was a passport validity which was not there for my application.
Okay, okay.
Whatever it is.
No, no,
So
that's
6 month validity was not there. So I landed
okay.
up in Tata Motors.
Okay.
Uh,
So what is this? What is this one theme 30-minute rule?
So that was in AstraZeneca. There used to be 3 slides, 30 minutes, one theme rule. So any meeting that you have, make it just one theme. Don't do multiplication, and take it only 30 minutes, because more than 30 minutes you don't have concentration. And just and 30 minutes are 3 slides, not more than it is 3 to 4 slides. It used to be called.
Oh,
It was a global norm, and I
so it is
found it was
it is
amazing.
one theme 30 minutes, three slides rule. Huh? Okay, okay, awesome. So what's one hobby outside of work that many people do not know?
I danced Argentine tango.
My God, even I didn't know this. Even I didn't know this. Okay.
Yeah, that's my latest hobby. Yeah.
I mean, if I had a better camera, I would have asked you to, like, go out and go a little bit and dance. But no, I won't bother you with that.
Come on,
Okay, so
come on. Come on 22nd. I'll tell you the venue.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, by the way, guys, to everyone who knows Sudip, you should ask him to invite you to his parties. His parties are rollicking. And, our entire CRM team actually, he had invited us for his party, and we had a rocking time. Okay, so Sudip, in the interest of time, one book you recommend for people?
Actually, I'm reading a lot of books. I read normally a lot of Puran books actually these days on Mahabharata and Ramayana. I think
Okay,
I'm reading at this point in time 100 tales of Mahabharata, and that's amazing. So basically, small stories
what
and
is it? 100?
it's in Bengali, to be honest. It's 100 tales of Mahabharata, different,
Okay,
like killing of somebody. So what happens in a particular day, like what happened to Ghatotkaч, what happened
oh,
to Karna. So these are all is a amazing story that I'm getting. Maybe I don't know whether it's English is there or not, but lots of small politics, small tactics, small winning strategies are there. Yeah,
sure,
so I'll possibly let you know what is if there is an English title for that. It's a
sure,
Bengali
sure.
one that I'm reading.
You
Yeah,
can post it on the same LinkedIn
I will do. I'll do. I'll do.
session chat. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I asked everybody, the guests that come on Clarity Chat, uh, they have come to the top, whereas not everybody who was their peer has come there. So, you know, the whole session has been about what do you do, like what do you do different or what do you do extra. But I think the question that I have is that what are the three things one should stop doing for his own growth?
Yeah, if you ask me, stop doing for his own growth. I think the first thing is don't fake. Yeah,
Okay.
um, and secondly is get into it. Love your work and get into it. There's no superficial stuff. If you're in the superficial area, you'll get caught. And third thing is that put in effort. If you want to be really expert in something, put in effort, read a lot.
Okay. Okay. So one thing you have to stop doing is okay. So don't fake is fine, and don't become superficial,
Hmm.
right? And don't stop learning.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any one last advice to the next generation of leaders? A lot of them are here.
I think my last three parts also part of it actually. So read a lot. That's very important for us. We don't read a lot these days. Read at least 5 articles a day. Yeah, that's one. Second one is I said to you, I mean, just what I said just now. Get inside the problem. Get inside the technical problem. Get into the business problem to solve a problem, right? And that's it. I think the two three things and some
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
effort.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
No
Okay.
abnormal thing, supernormal thing can be achieved in the normal hours, normal effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So couple of questions which I don't want to miss out. I know we are over time, and this question, uh, while it is coming from LinkedIn user, I think it is Kaustubh who has asked this question. So
Mhm.
please share how you see AI transforming supply chain operation. Quick one, if you have a view.
I
Otherwise,
think
we'll give it.
no, I think AI is transforming, but people are not ready as yet. First is the data. I think the supply chain, connected supply chain, is a very recent phenomenon. Now, when you are
Mm-hmm.
talking about AI and AI models and optimizing that, some of the companies have achieved like Walmart and all. You see that in the YouTube. Look at Edelman Price, what Walmart has done. Amazing job. But not many people have done it so far. But read that what I'm saying to you. Edelman Price, Walmart, Prakhar Mehrotra. He's basically the MD of Blackstone AI. He actually got twice the Edelman Prize and from Walmart. Amazing job they have done. That would be your learning.
This is a Walmart case study on use of AI, right?
Yeah, yeah. Edelman Prize. They got the Edelman Prize, which is the Nobel of supply chain.
Okay. Vinay, afterwards, just seek out the link for that particular case study from Sudip, and then we'll post it on for
It's a
everybody to
video.
see.
It's a video on YouTube also. Yeah, I can get that. Yeah.
And then there is the last question. The is demand forecasting real for Indian manufacturers?
Again, not to the Indian manufacturers. Demand forecasting is what? Demand forecasting, sometimes there are two ways of looking at the demand forecasting, in my view. One is a very strong CRM. Yeah, very strong CRM is needed to look into the future. Another is a very strong, your delivery data so that you can project. I think second part is good at this point in time. First part is not yet good. Indian companies, if I'm especially long sales cycle, long pre-sales and sales cycle. Demand forecasting is real, but in some industries it is, in some industries it is not.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think we are done with that. There's just one last comment that I want to bring in. Abu Samad Siddiqui, good to see your perspective, Majumda. Argentine Tango. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So Sudip, I think I've been bombarding questions at you, and let's make it fair game. You get to ask me a revenge question. So go ahead.
Okay, so for all the viewers here, Jagdish was the one of the leaders in the Tata Motors CRM, which was one of the largest, 35,000 users, if I remember correctly. CRM, automotive CRM and DMS, dealer management system, in the same instance. In fact, the same program. I have never seen Ramdurai and Chandra both are attending the steering committee of the meeting with Ravikant and others. Right? I've never seen a program in TCS. Maybe it has happened, but I have not without my knowledge. So this program was very, very tough. Manish Gupta, Jagdish Belwal, Sablil Nandi, they gave us a very, very hard time. Now, if I look back, Jagdish, to answer or ask you the question, did you like us at that time?
Sorry?
Did you like us at that time? What is your take at that time? And how TCS delivered, and did you like us? Did you think that we were? Yeah.
Yeah. So Sudeep, I think our initial one was like, oh my God, what did we do? Okay. Because I think the guys who came, people were not very. I mean, the kind of people you expect that people will with a lot of experience will come and all of that. And then the good thing is that we are. I think our team was pragmatic. Okay, so we realized that, okay, you know what, there are not too many CBL projects in India, right? So you're unlikely to get those kind of experience resources. The one principle that we always held very, very dear was that it's one team. Okay, so it was never like TCS versus Tata Motors or TCS versus TTL, because there were some seven partners, right? TTL was there, CMC was there, TCS was there, a lot of people. So our this thing was that, listen, you know what? Good thing was that we were CBL trained. Okay. So the entire seven people were trained on the CBL core consultancy course, and I think your team learned it the hard way
That's why I
after
said it
trying.
was a bad thing as well.
I
Yeah.
mean, I still remember those discussions and the value of those trainings. But I think, the thing was that what we found was that where there was a gap in competency, in the technical competency, that was more than compensated by an honest intent and the learning attitude. Okay, so we never had a problem with the attitude or the intent that you guys want to make us successful. So I think once the intent is aligned, then it's actually easier to work through. We may have debates, we may have fights, we may have heated arguments, but it's all towards the same aim. And this is something we had to actually remind everybody, including anybody there, that, hey guys, I mean, are we aligned? Are we aligned to the same goal? If we are aligned to the same goal, debates are good, discussions are good, right? Fights are good. And I think end of the day, the amount of partying we used to do, right? So
No.
I mean, end of the day, the work creates differences. It's a C2H5OH which dissolves the difference.
And
but
the
but but,
relationship
but
still
Sudeep,
continues.
I
Yeah.
must say personally about you, I must say that while you didn't know too much of CBL, I mean, you hadn't done too many CBL projects, but we really liked your rigor. So what you talked today about the project management rigor and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and all of that, we saw that and we really used to appreciate that. And in fact, we were very upset that you were taken off the project as soon as your passport got renewed.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you very much. That's an honest submission. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so guys, I mean, time. I know, as always, we are like beyond time, and something I can't help. I become greedy, in these sessions on trying to cover everything. So let me just do a quick sort of session summary. So we started with Sudip's early life and career. When I said PGP Glass does this, Sudip like kind of got upset. And he said, "No, I'm Khushiyan baatte hain. We have the specialty liquor bottles, and the perfume. The top 17 out of the 20 perfume makers rely on us." So I understand, Sudip, where that sentiment was coming from, and I really love the perfume bottles my wife has, in terms of the design and the finish. Um, Sudeep's career, and then we went through the different questions, the project management rigor, the 40,000 line items in the extra project plan, and I think one of the biggest takeaways was like being rigorous about work and. And like as I said, crossing all the t's and dotting all the i's. uh, there was a gem of a statement which was about manage scope and risk and adjust time and cost. uh, then we discussed the philosophy of adding value to become valuable. Many times the things that we do, we don't, the moment we start seeing those things from the customer's point of view, we realize that the kind of value that is adding, even though for us it may be routine, like for example the system of internal reviews, that AXA kind of really appreciated, that it's a QA kind of thing, and I also shared my experience on how it was valuable to us. And sometimes we don't talk about those things, so we have to think of things from the customer's point of view, to see that even though it may look like kind of day-to-day thing for me, but it may be something which can add value to the customer. Similarly, be a translator of value for the stakeholders. Then we talked about Sudeep's experience on the Industry 4.0 initiative. So in L&T, he talked about the 35 points of digital interventions, IoT implementation in 12,000 machines. And I think, again, another gem of a statement, which is, it's okay to fail, but if you pass, you have to scale.
This
He
is the
actually ran
CEO of
well.
Yeah. I love that statement during my
Oh,
interview.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the other thing that I think he mentioned, and again very important, is that what differentiates digital from the traditional IT is the expectation of a tangible value. So be very clear that when you're talking digital, there'll be an expectation of tangible value. Uh, then we talked about the biggest challenges for the Industry 4.0 solution deployment, and I think this is primarily your contracts. Your contracts with your labor unions, your contracts with your suppliers, with your machine suppliers in terms of data access, etc. Right? Then Amarinder asked a question about the rise of DIY in enterprise IT. I mean, how does it change equations? So I think Sudeep had a good answer to it, that while the part that it is completely DIY IT is not true, but but it will evolve. It will evolve, and the democratization of IT is real. Then we talked about change management, and Sudeep had a great example to share about the gamification in the construction industry, on how people wanted to be on the leaderboard. So you achieve 80% of the target, you get one run. You achieve 90% of the target, you get two runs. Achieve 100%, it's a four, and achieve 110%, it's a six. And this is something that engaged everybody. Um, and then he also talked about the special Chabbis project, of doing a CRM implementation in 26 days, and again, achieving it with that gamification that he did. I think there was a very insightful question from Sayan, that all these product vendors and services vendors, they just they just sell the dreams to your business stakeholders and your CXOs, and then it comes to the CIO's head to say that to kind of say that, guys, it's not that rosy, okay. And I think Sudeep had a good, I would say, Sudeep had a very good mechanism there, that, like, while these guys are bringing dreams, you bring the real stories from your network, okay, to and talk about, like, what kind of preparedness we need to have, what kind of planning it takes, what kind of hard work it takes, and what are the practical results, and not what you get sold, right? um, and then we had the rapid fire round, and then we had Kaustubh's question about AI transforming supply chain operations. So there's a case study on Walmart, how Walmart used AI to transform supply chain. I think, on second thoughts here, the use of AI will be directly proportional to the amount of data that you have, and the quality of data that you have, and the discipline that you have in your data management. Um, I think that was picked up somewhere else in the conversation. So if you really want to use AI, I mean, just first look at the quality of data. If 70% of your categorization of data is others, then you first clean that up. And I think then we had a very interesting reverse question to me, and I had to be honest about it. Sudeep asked, like, did I like TCS when we joined the CRM program, and I had a qualified answer to it. Okay, so guys, we are sort of at the end of the chat, and I want to really thank Sudeep, for being such a energetic guest on the chat. And before we leave, I also want to thank Amarinder for posting a session summary, as he always does. I have a I have a doubt that Amrinder does it because he finds my session summaries too long. So before I can, like, summarize the session, he sends a small session summary. It's more like a cue to me, Amrinder, that, hey, Jagdish, you read it and don't go through your notes of the session summary. Sorry, I'm pulling your leg, Amrinder. Okay, so guys, this was our second last chat of 2024. Our last chat of 2024 is going to be with a very, very special guest. Sudeep, you'll be delighted to know it is with Mr. Ravikant. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, I met him last week, and I actually had bought my copy of his latest book, which is Leading from the Back. I don't know if you guys can see it.
yeah, I
Okay,
can.
so my camera is still in the blur mode. Yeah. So, and I requested him very, hesitatingly, that whether he would like to come on ClariTea. He was like more than happy. It won't be so much about the book, but it will be more about, like, he sharing his philosophy, because when I read the book, it exactly mirrors how he has been running organizations, building teams, and more importantly, how he has mentored people like me. Because if you ask me, someone my style, who does it match closely to someone, or who I try to match it closely to someone, it's actually Mr. Ravikant. I always keep thinking that, in this situation, how would Mr. Ravikant go about, planning, strategizing, executing, building a team around it. And then, so this will be on 20th December. Mr. Ravikant, who's my mentor, and he has written this book, Leading from the Back. And here is a special thing, showing actually my gratitude and my conviction about what he says, is that the first 25 registrations for the session on LinkedIn, they'll get a free copy of the book. That will be my way of saying thanks. So guys, go ahead, look out for the announcement, which is going to come out very soon, and we'll see you on 20th December. So thank you everyone for attending and engaging, and especially all the people who are, like, either going to the mall or sleeping at the time when we do this chat, but then they definitely watch the recording afterwards. So thank you all. I don't want to miss out on you. And thank you, Sudhi, for joining me on the Clarity chat today.
Thank you very much. It was pleasure, all pleasure. But I never have forgotten that dialogue as well of Mr. Kant, which
What's that?
I which I put that. Huh? The fire should
Yeah,
be in the
yeah,
stomach or the backside. That was
yeah,
amazing.
exactly, exactly. That was his dialogue, that there should be
I-
fire somewhere.
yeah.
Either it's in your belly or it's under you. So anyway, so guys, before we leave, before we call it a day, here's the book from Mr. Ravikant, Leading from the Back to Achieve the Impossible. And he has really done a lot of impossible things, like turning around JLR, turning Tata Motors from a 500 crore loss to a 500 crore profit in 2 years. And of course, like a lot of impossibles I have been part of, and we'll be discussing all of this next week, which is 20th December. Okay, on that note, see you guys. Bye bye. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend. Bye.
Thank you.